Hey YouTube, Shelko04 here. Welcome to my multi-part series on home defense, home hardening 101. So at this point, you've made a site map. In the next video, you measured out the distances to keys in your you've met on your site map. And then in our third, we talked about lighting, camera, upgradations, things that you can do to your property without drawing a lot of attention to it. In this video, we're going to talk about hunkering down, the opportunity to leave, or the ability to as stated. Now you need to protect, and we're going to talk about some of those considerations there. So let me close this up, and we'll get to it. So the hunkering video map. Now, hang on. There we go, that's better. Now let's talk about first the S's. These S's here, 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 here. I might even put one out in here. This is where you could put a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi enabled speaker, like you might put out on your patio. Someplace out here you could enjoy it, you could relax, life would be good. But out here in the trees, you put them, maybe you paint them green so nobody can see them. But what you're looking to do basically is, with these speakers, you could have a macro, excuse me, on your phone. You could play to these speakers the sound of twigs breaking, and you could have that intermittent. You could also have the sound of a shotgun cocking. You could have the sounds of whispering or mild talking. What you're looking to do basically is, if somebody's approaching from this area here, you want to distract them with confusing sounds. So I'm all up for Bluetooth speakers that you can control in the house but broadcast out on your property. You could also have I don't know, like I said, breaking branches, racking slides, what have you. Okay, let's talk about the next consideration. Let's go with the blue option. The blues are the burn barrels. We've got a burn barrel here. We've got a burn barrel here. And we've got a burn barrel here. And here's what a fella could do. And your mileage may vary, but again, like I said, here's what a fella could do. I would go into this tree line here, to the right of your property, and I would, over time, I would gather and cultivate poison ivy. Now, you got to suit up for that, wear gloves, maybe wear a dust mask, long sleeve shirt, the whole 9 yards. But I would start packing these barrels with poison ivy. And then, once you've got that barrel half full of poison ivy, I would throw a length of PVC pipe in there. And then I would put more poison ivy in there. And then, as it gets to the top, I'd throw maybe an old inner tube in there. And then when it gets really to the top, what I would do is I would put a road flare, unused, still in its wrapping, in there, and put the lid on. Here's what you're looking to do. In the event of an SHTF situation or a RAW situation, if you have the ability to drop a road flare into your now dry poison ivy, PVC pipe, and rubber inner tube, first off, that rubber inner tube is going to give off black smoke, so you'll know what to avoid. Second off, that PVC pipe, when it burns, gives off some nasty, nasty shit that you don't want to breathe. I made the mistake of breathing it once when I was cutting a piece of pipe out in the garage, and I'm telling you, after the first breath, it feels like death is upon you then. Thirdly, that poison ivy, although I have never experienced it, I know people in the military who walked into a valley where they had burned poison ivy historically, like the other day, and that was the closest thing to dying I was told, that the guy had ever experienced. So, the black tire, the black rubber burning tells you where the smoke is to stay away from it. The PVC creates the noxious fumes that you don't want to breathe in. And the burning poison ivy becomes the poor man's equivalent of tear gas. If you're going to do this, my suggestion is that you have mop gear or a Tyvek suit, a respirator, goggles, the whole 9 yards, because whatever's going to be a hardship that they're going to have to deal with, you're going to have to deal with as well. Okay, now let's talk about R, red, the bees. Now, if you live in a municipality or a location where you can have beehives, where, like, that's my objective to live, then I would have beehives maybe here, and maybe here, and maybe here. Again, protecting yourself from the possible avenues of entry. Now, what do you do with the beehives? Well, you collect honey and you raise bees. Life is good. But here's what I want you to consider. Get yourself a couple of containers of this Tannerite crap. Now, I've never used Tannerite, but I've seen what it does on YouTube, and it's an explosive that you can mix up and basically make exploding targets with. What I would do is I would fill a Ziploc bag with this Tannerite crap, and then I would staple that Ziploc bag to the side of one of my beehives, and I would cover that Ziploc bag with a cookie sheet that I then painted orange, and maybe put a big glow-in-the-dark X on it or something. And the idea is that from the house here, you can nail one of those Tannerite charges with a rifle and shatter that beehive, and now this whole area here, or this whole area here, or this whole area down here becomes a mess of trouble for somebody to deal with, because you've got tens of thousands of bees looking to piss somebody off. So, speaking about pissed off, let's talk about this last one down here, septic. Now, assuming that this here, this green lid, is the hatch for your septic tank, what I would do, or what a fella could do, is bury some PVC pipe in the ground, branch it out, and have some sprinkler heads here and here. So you got a sprinkler head here and here. Now what you're looking to do is, since you service and check your septic tank regularly, that cap should be pretty visible. In an area close to it, I would get myself one of these pumps from Harbor Freight for $14, and I would have this in storage nearby. Because the idea is, in a SHTF situation, or you got marauders coming into your property, or what have you, what you're going to do is you're going to pump the effluent from the top of your septic tank into those PVC lines and basically spray your yard with a fine mist of urine and feces. Now, that'll be great for the grass later in life, but trust me, if you've got somebody who's just looking to check out your property and doesn't know what you've got in there, then walking into a mist of urine and feces is probably going to be deterrent enough that they're going to consider going to somewhere else. Now, why? Here we go, the yellow ones. Let's talk about power. Let's say you've got a light pole out here on the driveway. You got one here. You got one here. What I encourage you to do is, instead of running low voltage out to those lights, I would bury a direct bury cable. So you've got 110 out there, and I would have, in addition to the lights, I would have maybe on the side of the post a waterproof outlet. Then maybe here on the side of the house, you've got maybe a siren or an alarm or a light. You could have a red light, so that maybe you've got an eye on your post out front here, and that's wired to signal to this light here to go off. So unless you turn off this light here, you walk up on a property where there's a red light on, or a green light, or a yellow light, or some sort of signal to you that you're walking up on a house that is now potentially occupied. So the other thing is, if you've got 110 out here on your lampposts, what you can do is, let's say down here in this where we've got a rally point, we've got a cache, and in that cache is a Wi-Fi controller. Now what you're looking to do is check out what they call X10 technology. It's for home automation. Basically what it allows you to do is, with a device like this, a hand fob, or the ability to run an app on your computer or on your phone, you can control the light switches inside the house. You can control timers inside the house. But here's what you're looking for. You can also control outlets. So here, keep in mind the hand fob and the ability to control outlets. So what does that do for you? Well, what it would do is, you've got your Wi-Fi device here that basically, this X10 technology controls those outlets by using your existing wiring system as the network cables. So from here, you would send a signal to the house, and that signal would say turn on or turn off, and that signal would travel then to the appropriate device out on the post or out in the yard or wherever you've got 110 mounted, and you could orchestrate the turning on, the turning off of lights, sirens, what have you. So, and that technology is relatively cheap because it's actually old school technology. So that's something to consider. Now, there are a lot more things you could do to harden and hunker down in your house, but these are just a couple that you could consider. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, oh, damn it. Let's step back for a minute. And, nope. That's going to be one more video. So we're going to end it here. And in the next video, we're going to talk about vegetation and gardening and things like that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, please subscribe, and we'll talk to you then. Shelka04 out. Thank you.